just gonna talk for a little bit about something that's been bothering me quite a bit the past couple years, and really recently it's been getting even worse and worse and worse. I think it's gonna exponentially get worse until I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's certain genres of video games that are just gonna die out because they're just not fun anymore for the vast majority of people. So when you're playing any online video game, any not any online game, any game where you're versus another human being, everybody is going to, well, the majority of people want to be streamers, so they want to, you can't be a streamer unless you're absolutely dominating people, so they look up on YouTube what's the cheapest, easiest possible way to destroy somebody. Let's just take Marvel Rivals, for example. So they're going to look up online what's the best possible way to just completely destroy people and, with the least amount of effort and skill involved, and then that's what they're going to do. And it just starts to erode the fun of these games completely, just absolutely completely. Online single player, yeah, sure, whatever. Sure, fine. So what I mean by COVID ruined it is that you didn't really notice all these problems before COVID. So before COVID, there was a thing called Mixer, and Mixer was a really cool streaming service that if you played it or if you streamed on it, I was streaming on it, and I would get sometimes 50 to 100 viewers playing PUBG, a game I wasn't even good at. And
You keeping stocked?
and the community was so much more friendly, and it was a little more laid back. It wasn't completely laid back, but it was a little more laid back, and just far more enjoyable of an experience to try to stream. And I would get people watching me play Dark Souls. The remake was pretty popular. I think I even played Dark Souls 2. And then Mixer I think it may have fallen off right before COVID hit. I think that's what happened. Mixer failed right before COVID. But once COVID came, what happened is everybody that wants to be streamers now all of a sudden they have all the time to stream. They have money now to stream because they all, the thousands and thousands of people that got laid off from Target and Walmart and grocery stores and restaurants across the country, just millions of people, not even thousands, millions of people laid off with way more money than they should have had. I worked at FedEx, so I never had extra time. As a matter of fact, I lost my life when it came to COVID. I had to work like 12-hour shifts. It was crazy. So I didn't have that time. So I lost out on that opportunity, and I should have taken that opportunity. I really should have, because if I would have got put on unemployment from FedEx, oh my God, I would have been making like I would have been making like $2,000 a week on COVID layoff money from FedEx. But no, I chose to keep working, and so anyways, like, what happened to streaming is that it just got flooded. The market got flooded because now all of a sudden all these people have all this money. And what do? Well, if you're going to play an online video game, if you're going to play a versus game, like let's say Call of Duty or Marvel Rivals, or at the time it was Overwatch, Overwatch or Call of Duty, or like even something simple like Street Fighter, or anything that's competitive at all, what are they going to do? They're going to buy a thing called a Cronus on a console, or they're going to buy the best PC that they can possibly get, which gives you a huge advantage. And crossplay became a thing around that time as well. Like it was around, but it really became popular when COVID hit. And between everybody having unlimited amounts of time, everybody wanting to stream because they have unlimited amounts of time and they want to maximize on money, which, good for them, whatever. And then having all of the money to fund it. Now you don't get the extra COVID money that you got back then. They all spent all their money on all this equipment, top of the line equipment. It didn't take them any skill. They didn't have to work at it. They didn't have to grind away for years with, a couple hundred viewers here or there until they finally broke through and got their lucky day. No, it's just immediately they have top of the line stuff. Everything's, right there and available to them. The time is there, and if you didn't get into streaming at that point in time, you're just not. Your chances of getting into streaming right now are just absolutely minimal to zero. Like, it's like winning the lottery. You're just not going to get in. When 5 years ago, it was not like that. It just wasn't like that. COVID completely flooded the market with a bunch of, and these people don't have good personalities. They don't have good points of view. They're not even good at video games. They just, like I said, they get a Cronus or they get a mouse and keyboard and act like they're really awesome, when really it takes no skill at all to use those two things. Like, a controller is you have to have far more skill on a controller than you do on a mouse and keyboard. And if you use a Cronus, obviously you're a cheater and things will be easier then as well. But where is Alma? Finish your preparations and talk to Alma. Oh, Alma's out here. So it just ruined streaming. It ruined it. So this is what you have to do if you want to be a streamer and you don't have a bunch of money to just inject into the start of your business by buying like dropping $5,000 into a computer setup, which isn't even top of the line, by the way. That's like a mediocre setup, $5,000. If you don't have like $5,000 to $10,000 to just immediately drop into it, no one's gonna watch you. If you don't have a great camera, great audio, the ability to edit and I don't even know what it's called. If you don't have a capture card so that you can put yourself in front of a video that's playing and like react, how React videos are. You're capturing your video, but you're playing it over top of somebody else's video. Like, if you don't have the ability to do that, you just might as well just not even try. But even if you did have that kind of money to drop into that, now you have to try to break through the market of every last person that's rich. That when COVID hit, they all started streaming too, like famous comedians, famous rappers, musicians, actors, actresses, OnlyFans girls are now on OnlyFans and on Twitch, and it's wild. And that's another thing. Chicks, millions and millions and millions of chicks, just with low-cut shirts, or their breasts are popping out of their shirt, and all these dumb moron guys are just like drooling over them. It's so impossible to try to break into this now. And I know I sound like I'm whining about it, but it's just, man, it's unfortunate that this what do you call it? It's not a job. I mean, it is if you're getting paid to do it, but this evocation You know,
It's
like
about the support team. I
it,
mapped out
it,
what their
it
route
you
hub-
can't do it if it's
Vanessa
something you
Westbrook,
genuinely
you don't
want to
think-
do, because there's so many people
on.
that just
Be
are
careful
doing
out
it
there,
just
Hunter.
because they're greedy. Like if
Follow
you're
the
a,
scout
if you're a
flies.
famous
The timing, the direction, it
if
must
you're a
be them.
famous comedian, like
Hurry!
what's his name?
Those hindquarters.
Looks like he's wearing a Mr. Potato Head face. Eric Griffin. If you're making enough money to take care of the whole family off of just being a comedian and an actor, why do you have to stream on Twitch, dude? Why do you have to stream video games on Twitch? Just play video games on your spare time and let somebody else try to make money off of Twitch. If you're Snoop Dogg, you have multi-million-dollar fortune. You don't need to stream on Twitch, bro. Like, and the people that are watching them are like, what are you watching? Are you? I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, what are you watching? Are you watching this guy? Uh-oh. I didn't just die from that? Okay. So you can't climb anymore? So anyway, like if you're a famous actor and you have millions of dollars, why are
Support team
you
must be in trouble.
streaming on Twitch? I just feel like it's so silly. It's so silly to have all of these things going on. Oh, I don't have a mount. That's right. The storyline, they didn't let me have a mount. So, you know, it just makes streaming impossible. And then, like I was saying, like when you're playing any kind of competitive game, everybody wants to be a streamer, so they're all YouTubing the easiest possible thing that they could possibly figure out how to just dominate with the least amount of effort and skill. And it takes you the normal person's ability to try to play that game or stream that game. It just takes it away completely. You don't have the opportunity, because there's gonna be some nerdy kid that, you know, his mom bought him a computer, or some college dropout that COVID hit and he spent $10,000 on the best PC setup. So now he's like, you know, it just drives me crazy, man. It drives me crazy. It's, you know, the world's not fair. I don't expect the world to be fair, but man, does that suck, you know? It's just, I don't know. There's just no way to really get your voice heard
Get on!
unless you take on a complete fake personality and act like something that you're not, just meme and
Thanks,
and
Eli.
You.
like there's no place for normal
somewhere
people
safe.
anymore.
We'll be there later.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's unfortunate and I don't like it, and I wish viewers would stop supporting people that they don't need you to support them. Like, a lot of people hate watch, and I'm guilty of it myself. I hate watch Asmongold all the time. This is really loud. I hate watch Asmongold all the time, and I shouldn't. I don't like watching it, so why do I keep hate watching it and giving him views and clicks when I don't even like his content? You know, I don't agree with his point of view most of the time. Some of the time he's fairly reasonable, but sometimes he's just being contrarian because that's what's going to get him the clicks and views. And that's another thing, is that you have to be completely okay with being disingenuine so that you can get clicks and views. instead of saying your actual, being genuine to what you are and who you are and how you actually feel. Something about this game's aiming is just off to me.
Leave this to me! Heels inbound!
I don't know how to do anything. Damn it. Dude, like for real? Oh my god.
Looks like it's moving to a new area.
Oh, did I finally get him hurt? Okay. You know, why hasn't
The monster's exhausted. Get a load of these claws! Time to go on the offensive!
Damn, how much can you take, buddy? I guess I just don't know how to do the sheath attack. I don't know. I don't know what the heck's going on with that.
This way to the shock trap. Ooh, better collect this trap.
Don't mind if I do.
I died. Cool. Cool. Great time. Really great time. Yeah, so
Are you
like
okay?
online
Where does it hurt?
competitive video games are completely
supplies
ruined in
have
my
been added.
opinion. I think really the only games that are worth playing are solo games and RPGs and like co-op RPGs. I just don't see. I just don't see how anybody can say that it's fun to play a competitive game against people that are just gonna do the cheapest possible thing and cheat and it cross-play with the mouse and keyboards, and it just makes every single game that's competitive just a pile of trash. Just not fun.
Bird of steel.
Finally, Jesus. There's probably a lot I need to figure out about this game. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I just wanted to play a little bit of this game, see if I could get into it. I had a little more fun playing it this time than I did the opening of the game. I thought the opening of the game was pretty lacking, man, to be honest. I don't think they have enough good, fun tutorials to teach you like how to play the game. And honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, I think the graphics are far worse on this game. I think the gameplay is far worse. And, what else? Just this setup, the basic setup of the game is just worse than the last one. I thought Monster Hunter Rise was phenomenal. And I think this game is... I just think that how did the graphics get worse? That's what I want to know. You're what, 4 years? This game is 4 years after Monster Hunter Rise, and the graphics are worse? Huh?
Great. Let's head back.
But that's not what I wanted to talk about, so I'll stream this tomorrow. I think I'm gonna take tomorrow off of work and just stream. Just try to play this. I want to give it a real chance. But I'll tell you what, man. I'm just jaded. I'm just having a hard time. I'm not happy with the way video games are right now. You know, people are glazing on games that just aren't fun. People are saying games that are good and fun are terrible because, you know, there's something woke in it. Even if you don't have to interact with that woke aspect of the game, they still say it's terrible. And like, this is the best comparison. Like,
That'll come in handy.
when you have people...
And one more thing. I was wondering if Senzato is...
We'd love...
Great!
What did I just miss? Damn it. So,
This is just
when you have
way too
people that
exciting.
say
Nata, we should get ready.
that
know about my village?
Dragon Age Veilguard is a terrible game because of all the woke stuff. All the woke stuff is entirely centered around one character in the game that you don't even have to play with that often. I played like 100 hours of the game. I still have to beat it. I should beat it. Maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow. Instead of playing this, I'll beat Dragon Age. But I played like 100 hours and I was literally counting them. There's 3 sentences. If you don't purposely talk to Tosh, you have to put up with 3 sentences from her that are, you know, she talks about her gender, and that's it. 100 hours of gameplay. I'm almost done with the game. Now I had to skip her entire storyline, so I mean that kind of sucks. But if it's optional, it's optional. And people say that Dragon Age is terrible, but man, the map design was great, the graphics were great, the gameplay was fun. Pretty simple, but still really fun and engaging. And the overall story was great, but some of the writing was really bad. And so I give it a 7.5 out of 10. I can't give it an 8 because the storyline, because the writing was lacking. If the writing was good, I would give it an 8 out of 10. If Tosh was a different character, if they made Tosh like a man Antrim, I can't remember what they're called. If they made her a man that breathes fire, like this big jack barbarian looking dude that breathes fire and uses dual axes, the game would have been a 9 out of 10 easy, because nobody would have had anything to complain about other than some kind of goofy writing. But of course Tosh is in the game, so you can't escape that fact. So it's like a 7.5 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10. You could talk me into saying 7 out of 10, because the gameplay is a little limited, the combat's a little limited. But then they glaze all over Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm telling you what, there's way more forced woke agenda in that game. You've got a bisexual vampire that's trying to have sex with you the entire game, and you know, the writing and the voice acting is just as silly and has parts that are just as silly and crappy on Baldur's Gate as there is on Dragon Age. Also, in fairness, some of Baldur's Gate story is really great, but they're also using a story off of like a world that already exists from professional writers that have the whole Forgotten Realms books. You know, that whole world is a world that exists. And Dragon Age just has to make it up as they go, so you know, not really apples to apples, you know what I mean? But the combat on Baldur's Gate is just snooze fest. I was literally falling asleep playing Baldur's Gate. I couldn't get through the game because I was falling asleep playing the gameplay. Like, I would get out of work, I'd immediately turn on Baldur's Gate because I was so pumped to try to play it. And I, like, every single night I'd get an hour in and I'd be, you know, waking up with my controller in my hand. Like, an hour later, I'm like, oh, god dang it. So, even as much as I wanted to like the game, I couldn't because the combat was too boring. So, you know, I would give that game a 7 out of 10. I would not give it more than that. Now, if you want to hear games that are higher than a 7 out of 10, there's Elden Ring, which is a 9 out of 10. I think if it had better performance, I think it could be a perfect game, but it didn't have the greatest performance. It performed pretty good, but it still had some frame drops and some... And in my opinion, you don't get it. Like, this is what I think would be a 10 out of 10. If Elden Ring had the storytelling of Final Fantasy 16, marry those two things together, and you've got a perfect game. But Final Fantasy 16 has a great storyline. I give Final Fantasy 16 an 8 out of 10, but the combat's too easy. So you lose something there, and no matter what, it's too easy. Even if you tried to do it the hardest way possible, it's still too easy. So, yeah, it's just weird to me. It's weird to me that people get on these political agendas and act like that's the reason why a game should be successful or not, instead of, is the game fun or not? Like, that's the most important thing you should be asking yourself when you're playing Marvel Rivals. Is it more fun, or is it fun to be playing the competitive mode and the characters have such terrible balancing, the ranked mode, the ranked balancing itself is awful. Like, I'm playing games in Platinum, and I'm on teams that have no idea what they're doing. And for some reason, I'm playing against teams that are, like, going 50-3. And my team's going 2-8 and 1-10. And it's like, how is this supposed to be enjoyable? And the gameplay's not that good. I'm sure it's great on mouse and keyboard, but on a controller, the gameplay is really lacking. People glaze all over that game. It just, I don't get it, man. Call of Duty, there's millions of people that love that game. I think it's one of the worst shooters out on the market right now. Now, Black Ops 2, and then all of the games before Black Ops 2, Call of Duty was on top of the mountain, tippy top of the mountain. They were the best of the best, year in and year out. I just think every competitive game, every player versus player game has fallen off a cliff in the past 4 years. I think COVID killed video games as well. I really do. There's a couple studios like From Software, Capcom, Konami, you know, some Nintendo games are still really good. Like, so there's some really, really good developers out there still, but for the most part, any player versus player game is just completely ruined for, all the, the game itself isn't good, and then the player base of those games is just flooded with a bunch of wannabe streamers that are doing the cheapest possible thing to look as cool as they can possibly look on stream, and it just, nobody's in-game in voice chat trying to work together because they're all in party chat talking to their, stream chat. The gaming experience, the online gaming experience is just really bad right now. And I don't know how it gets fixed. I really don't. I have a fix. I have an idea that I think would fix all of it. I think 18 or 17 and below should not be allowed to stream. You shouldn't be allowed to participate in any online activities where you can interact with adults. I think that would eliminate millions of kids out of the streaming pool. Kids shouldn't be online streaming and having opportunities to interact with adults. That's wildly insane. That should be ended. If I were the president, if I were Trump, I would say this has to end. Now, I know video games isn't on anybody's, list of things to fix right now, but I think that anything, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, children should have their own interface, their own user interface that is completely separated from adults. So I think that would fix a lot of society's problems, because you have kids making 100 accounts trolling people because they think it's funny, and they put it on their Instagram, and it's so funny. You would get rid of that. Boom, gone. Now, obviously, you'd still have kids interacting with kids, but that's fine. That's fine. Maybe you take away their ability to monetize that, and then only allow adults to monetize. And does it sound fair? Maybe not. I don't know. But it's I think it should be done for morality or for moral reasons. But also I think it would help a lot of those things. Like, it would take millions of people out of that flooded market and make it for adults that have a brain that's been, gaining a little wisdom through time and age, and you're not going to have as many trolling, douchebags. And let's be honest, like, Asmongold has been streaming since before he was an adult. His adult brain is formed from online interactivity with an echo chamber of people that are talking to him for the last 10 years. He wasn't a normal kid doing normal things. He was online playing World of Warcraft with his mom and just living a degenerate's life, and now he's got millions of people that he's manipulating with that degenerate mindset, and he doesn't even know how wrong he is. He doesn't even know how stupid he is, because this is what he's grown up with. He went from a kid to an adult with that mindset, and everybody's telling him how right he is, and he's making millions of dollars, so he's got that reinforcing his idea of what right is and wrong is. And it's just, it's wild, man. This is what's wrong with really, it's eroding our country from the inside out, because these kids should be in the workforce. Like, when I was 13, there was no online streaming and video games. There was no opportunity to do that. I had to go out into the real world, get a paper route, and wake up at 5 in the morning and learn a little responsibility and learn a little work ethic and get reimbursed for it, and it felt good. And it's a positive interaction with society. But you have people like Asmongold, who's a troll on World of Warcraft, and he's a negative, cancerous interaction with society. And I only interacted with my personal community, but it was positive. But the the effect is, really contained to just a small area. Spasmangold, this guy, he's a troll on video games, and he's affecting millions of people. I just think it's bad, man. I just think it's bad for the world. I think it's bad for the gaming industry. I think it's bad for just any online interactions for people to grow up online. I think we should probably take that away from them. The children should grow up being children, interacting with their, real life people in their communities. So I think that would be the first idea, is to separate children from adults on video games and social media. Completely separate interfaces. Adults can't see children's social media. Children can't see adults' social media. Online video games, children can't play with adults. Adults can't play with children. Completely separate. I think that would solve so many problems. It's not even funny. I don't think it will ever happen, but it should. It really should happen. And then I think people should take a long, hard look at what they think is important in life, and do you think that you should be supporting somebody that already has enough money to quit now, like Asmongold, for example? I'm not saying he should do this. I support anybody's right to do what they want. It's America. If he wants to make money and just keep piling millions on top of millions, fine. But he's not like the most philanthropic human being. He's just hoarding his money and, starting businesses, which is kind of a good thing, but it's not like he's out there, trying to take care of, poverty in America. If every millionaire was out there trying to do that, the world would be a better place. So if you're a consumer of somebody's content, maybe you should think about like who you're watching and who you're supporting, who you're giving your money to. Like, do you want to give your money to, a comedian that's already famous that has millions of dollars? Do you want to give your money to Snoop Dogg, who doesn't need your money? He doesn't need your interactions. He's already rich and famous and has thousands of people in his inner circle that he can just, but because he's getting paid millions on top of millions, he's going to keep monetizing every minute of his life. If you, I just, it's up to the consumers to change. And if they don't, nothing's ever going to, the cancer's going to keep eroding. Somebody's got to come up with an answer to the problem. Someone has to come up with an antidote to the poison. And, I think we're just teaching our children to be too trolly. We're allowing them to see the world. We're allowing them to interact with the world at such a young age that it's just not healthy for children to do. It's not healthy. And then they grow up to be like Asmongold, and it's just wildly unhealthy for the country to have people like that influence so many other people. And he's not the only one. I'm just picking on him because I know, I watch enough of his videos that I know, what he's like and what his audience is like, and how much of an influence he has. Because it's not just video games anymore. These video game streamers turn into React streamers, and rappers turn into React streamers, or political commentators now. And so now, not only do people watch them for video game content or rap content, but now they're watching them for their political point of views too. We really got to pump the brakes on who we are, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say like who we're propping up to be, you know, the icons of our society. Like we Asmongold, I don't think I think he should, you know, like I said, I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer or try to say that he's a bad person or something like that, you know, but should he really have millions of people that are listening to him and taking and thinking that what he has to say is somehow useful or right, or, you know, I don't think so. I think it's a bad thing. And, you know, it's a really simple thing to say, like, oh, well, you live in America. You have the freedom to do whatever you want. If people want to watch him, they should be allowed to watch him. Yeah, but they're children growing up watching this and being manipulated by this, and it's a whereas they wouldn't naturally get to that point if it weren't for that. So it's not natural, it's not good, and maybe it is a good thing if we step in and say, hey, children shouldn't be involved in this. And then maybe we might have a chance that our children grow up to be normal instead of all these trolls and, you know, all of these entitled little douchebags. Like, so, you know, I don't think we look deeply enough into how our children ingesting all of these outside sources into their growing minds is affecting them for the worse. But you know, I don't know. I just sound bitter. Probably, I just sound like I'm jealous and bitter, and you know, to an extent, I guess I am. But that's not why I'm saying these things. It's just on my mind, and that's that. All right, that's enough. Check you next time if I haven't ruined your night. Sounding like a Debbie Downer, but I'll check you next time. Peace.